Hello and welcome back to the Macca's Talk Hockey podcast, the podcast where me and my brother Charlie and our good friend Dan talk about English ice hockey, specifically the NIHL, and the season starts this weekend. And this is our NIHL predictions episode where we go through our predictions for the season. We got some little mini questions at the end as well. I think we're going to have a few different predictions. We'll have to see. But we've not obviously done an episode since all of our team specials. There is still time to watch them all. We've done an episode on all 11 teams. So you can go check them out. And yeah, it's I'm so excited. It's set to be a brilliant season, a season which I think, yes, we're going to predict, but I think at times will be very unpredictable in what will happen. Charlie, how are you feeling? You doing all right?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. It was quite a active pre-season.
Yeah, we'll go into it in a second.
The Swindon Thugs. Mm.
Yeah, I think that's our new name now. Dan, how did it feel to finally be able to support a team again?
Oh yeah, felt good. Them 2 years were worth it to see him back on the ice. But yeah, I'm excited to get going now for the proper games.
Bit of news with the Bison. I'm sure everyone's seen. They're not quite ready with the rink.
Damn it!
Oh, damn it. Bit gutting. I really did want them to be ready for, and I'm sure you did as well, Dan, the league. I think we kind of
Nah, I
predicted they
don't. I
might
don't
not
mind
be
traveling. I don't mind
they
traveling.
might not be ready. We thought they might not be ready for pre-season, but that first league game, unfortunately, it's delayed another 2 weeks. So you don't actually have a game for Bison this week, Dan. So actually, Dan's going to be with us at the Swindon game on the Saturday. I think you're watching Bristol on the Sunday against Solway.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, not
I haven't been
quite
to
this.
Swindon for a while, so it should be exciting to get back
Yeah,
there.
little bit of news. I have got a job as well, so I'm full time, which does mean the podcast episodes might not be as frequent this season because all of us are working and we'll have to find a time where maybe at least two of us can do episodes. So it might not be every week, it might be once every 2 weeks. Who knows? We'll update you. But yeah, this is our prediction episode. We will touch on preseason quickly because let's just put this out there. Yes, pre-season, it's great to win. It's great to get the results. And I would have said this if Swindon won 4 out of 4, by the way. I think we've said this many times before pre-season even started. It's a chance for the players to get back into match fitness, try some new lines because there's so many new players this season, new signings for different teams. And yes, it's nice to see it work, but I think it's going to look a lot different this weekend, Dan. Because this is where it matters now, isn't it? The points are on the line.
Oh yeah, players will come out of themselves now. Sort of players don't want to push it too hard in pre-season. Obviously, they've had limited time to train. They've had limited time to obviously get the legs going. So if they go full pelt in pre-season, it obviously increases the chance of injury. But now they've obviously had the full week. Their minds back in sort of the hockey swing of things. So yeah, they're all ready to go this weekend and really put everything out there on the ice for obviously themselves and their team.
Not everyone is ready to go this
Hmm.
weekend because there is a certain player who's got a ban, Charlie. Um,
Yeah, you
and
know,
yeah, so there are a couple bands. We'll go through them quickly. Dops has been very active this pre-season. It's not really been friendly, Stan and Charlie, has it? Especially for Swindon. I think we've had more fights in this pre-season than probably the last 2 seasons combined together. So pretty mental. But Malazinski and Deacon Fielder will not be playing Saturday. They both got a game each. I think we were chatting, Charlie. It's pretty fair. Malas did like flip him over. Deacon did try and batter him even when he wasn't fighting back. So they each get a game for that. Bo Neely's got a 2 game ban for a high stick, I believe, on Jonathan Phillips, where he did have to get loads of stitches. Now, what lads, what do we honestly, I'll start with you, Dan. What do you think about bans based on injuries? Because I called you this morning and we talked about how they did do that in the EPL a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the injury does sort of help with making a decision on a ban. Obviously, if they're physically injured from something, it shows that it has actually happened, and it's obviously come from that. Like a high stick, if it's happened in the game and he's obviously had to go and get stitches, then it's clear that the high stick was obviously quite hard on him. But at the same time, a high stick is one of those hard ones because it's not always going. You're not always going for the face. Like you could be going for a stick lift and accidentally hit him in the mouth and stuff like that. So it's hard to judge with that. So I think maybe when they were going to decide, obviously on DOPS and stuff, they were looking at that and thought it's obviously a very intense high stick,
Well,
and
it was requested, wasn't it? It wasn't actually a
yeah,
penalty on the night, I don't think.
it's obviously like safety. So I'm guessing they're gonna say it's like erratic with the stick or whatever they want to
Yeah.
call it, and sort of they've just gone by that.
Charlie, do you think it was a bit harsh because apparently it was quite unintentional?
The Bonini one, yeah, but at the end of the day, it is still a semi-professional league um, where these players have jobs to go to, and when guys get injured, it affects their jobs,
Yeah.
and that's a big deal. So I get both sides of the argument, but in a semi-professional league, you do have to take that into account. It's not like the elite league where they get paid and they as professional full-time athletes. These guys, it could affect their job. Maybe, I don't know, if they're a builder and they break their hand or because of a slash, well, they're not going to earn money from building if they own that business. So I understand both sides. I do.
Yeah, I
But
think
I
it's
haven't
like
seen
if you
Bo
trip
Neely hit,
if
so I can't judge it.
yeah, we haven't seen it. I think it's like if you accidentally trip someone, you're still going to get a 2 minute tripping penalty. If you cause someone to get quite a bad injury, you're going to pay the price for it. I've seen a couple people saying, well, if that got 2 games, how's Mar not got more? They are completely different situations, so I don't think they're comparable in terms of bans. We will get onto the Rennie Mar thing because he got a 2 game ban right in front of our eyes skated across the ice and battered Max Wright. And we can laugh about it now. Um, should he have maybe got more than 2? I think possibly 3 or 4, but they've classed it as the tier 1 fight, and they can only judge it, I guess, off what was given on the night, which was a 5+ game for fighting. Um, bit let off the hook there, Charlie.
No, it was a great ban, to be honest. I think 2 games is about right. Back for the Solway game, first league game of the season. Gave Ben Clark Leach a good run out. Rennie got to sit in the stands. Well done, Dobbs.
Dan, obviously it was against the Bison.
I think 2 games was very little. I think if they were going to give 2 games, which they shouldn't have anyway, but if they were, they should have done it in the league, so you couldn't just
Yeah.
miss pre-season.
Well, that's the difference. I know everyone says Swindon, Swindon, Swindon. All the players who got bans are able to serve it in pre-season.
Yeah.
However, because there's no more pre-season games left, Malasinski will have to serve the game for the league. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of them where, oh my goodness, sorry, we're just watching the football. Rashford's just scored a screamer. Um, but it's one of them where he could have got more. We'll have to see later on in the season if anything like that does happen again. I believe TJ's was for fighting an unwilling combatant, and he also got 2 as well. So yeah, we'll move
That,
on from the Mar thing, or has
that's
it
the
got any more
No,
comments?
I've got one more. That's the thing. Like they've set the bar now. Like obviously the first game of the season, they've set the bar for that. So now, whenever it comes to that now in the actual league, they're gonna have to really look at that carefully now and really decide on how many games they are gonna give. Because if they're throwing out 2 games for that, then I don't really I don't really see how you can sort of get
Yeah.
any worse, if you know what I mean.
Well,
The,
for
the one thing I will
fighting,
say on the Mar thing, I'm not here. Did Mark go across the whole length of the ice to punch Max right on the floor? Did he punch his head? No, he punched his body. Did he injure him in any sort of way? No. Let's not act like he committed the maddest crime ever. Like, it was 4 games max. He didn't do anything outrageous. If he jumped someone and injured
actually,
them to a really
Wright
bad
did
point,
blocker him twice back.
he
To be
punched him in
fair,
the chest on the floor. I'm not here to like, maybe 2 is a bit soft, but come on, like it's not a 6 game ban. It's a 4 game ban max. They've got it wrong by 1 or 2 games if you think they've got it wrong. I don't think it's anything major above that.
yeah.
Like that's just my perspective. He didn't injure him. He hit him in the chest, not the head. Like It's a jumping. That's what it is.
And and
That's the penalty.
and we have spoke to goalies. We won't say who, but goalies tend to get let off a little bit in terms of penalties or bans. They won't get as much as maybe an outfield player or a nice player. But we'll stop talking about that. Preseason itself. Which teams down have impressed you the most, other than Bison, who obviously won 3 out of 4?
I was going to say Bison.
No, you can't say that.
Um, um, put me on the spot now. I had Bison in my head.
Well, I'll say Hull because Hull have got a lot of backlash, and obviously we had the news just after we filmed the Sheffield Steel Dogs episode, the special, that Davy Phillips joined the Steel Dogs. And I feel bad for Matty because when we did our Hull episode right at the start of the summer, he was proper backing him as well and saying how big he's going to be this season. And that is a big piece taken out. However, it's a big chance for the likes of Spraggan and Noah Karaninen, I think it is. Sorry if I've pronounced that wrong, but it's a big chance for them youngsters who are very exciting. So yes, their decor isn't looking as strong. I will say that. But offensively, in the last couple of weeks, they went toe to toe with Leeds. I know it's pre-season, but they look pretty strong, and they've added, I think, the right pieces into the team. Dan, have you thought of a team now who's
Yeah,
impressed you?
Steel Dogs.
Yeah,
I think Steel Dogs have done good. Obviously, they got that big win against Leeds, and they took into overtime as well.
yeah,
So that was two really close games, obviously against Leeds, which are the team to beat. And I think Sheffield this season, obviously, I think we expected it going into the season that they were going to be competitive and they were going to have a really solid team. But I think showing it on the ice is a different story, and I think Sheffield are going to be doing that this year.
yeah. Charlie, you were particularly impressed with a couple of Sheffield imports, weren't you?
Yeah, I thought they had a good weekend. I
Oh,
don't.
and the certain defenseman as well.
Yeah, I don't count the Edinburgh game. That's like
No.
pointless in my eyes. But yeah, the Leeds one is good. The team I was really impressed by is Telford. They took down Bristol twice, a Bristol team probably looking to impress. And then they took down Swindon once. They played both goalies. Both goalies had some good games. Imports look really good. And they were missing some senior defensemen in both games versus Bristol.
Yeah.
And they still took them down with like three juniors in there. So, yeah, I was really impressed by Talbot. I think preseason, I don't look into it too much. Swindon, the last 3 seasons, I think, before this season, have won all their preseason games. So maybe it's a good thing we lost to learn some lessons.
Yeah, maybe it will bring us a bit of fortune. We'll have to see. But yeah, that is kind of preseason wrapped up. Milton Keynes didn't play on the last weekend, but they played a bit before, and I quite like those little games against maybe an upper a team in the Elite League, or obviously Phantoms and Raiders. They played the Les Bisons
The
from
second best
France.
Bison.
That's another team. I think Phantoms had a really good preseason as well. Ash Tate will take a lot of positives from that. But as we said, it's just preseason, and the real deal starts this weekend, where some teams are playing cup games, some teams aren't. I know Swindon's aren't cup games. Let's get into our league predictions then, because I know that's what everyone wants to hear. And I think we go from the bottom upwards. I think that's the way to go. Um, do we agree, lads? Yeah. All right, so let's just put it out there. This battle for the playoff spots is going to be, I think, it was pretty good last year, but I think there's actually going to be
Much, much better this year. Yeah.
four teams who are all going to be looking for that seventh, eighth spot. And three of them are going to have to miss out. And I think three teams will come away from this season disappointed that they haven't got that playoff spot, because I think they've built rosters to really go for it. Um, I'm going to start with the teams which I think will slightly miss out. And unfortunately, I'm going to throw Raiders out there first. And they didn't have a great preseason. They've lost a few players. I know they've managed to keep the likes of Miller. I think that's really positive. They've got Leishram, who, if he can stay fit the whole season, I think that's a great addition back into the team. I'm just struggling because that decor, they've obviously lost Ralph. Dan, you've seen how good Ralph was this weekend for the Bison. I think you'll see how big of a loss that is for the Raiders, and it's just a lot of change, the coaching change as well. Yeah, it wasn't a great preseason for them, was it, Dan?
No, it was going to be tough. It was always going to be tough. Like you said, they've lost a few big guys in that team, and obviously, like you said, new coach as well. I think it will get better for them. I mean, it can't really get much worse, but it will get better for them. I think once Buckman really gets to know his team and gets to know how to coach at this level, it's a lot different to the level that he's coached at before. He's obviously been assistant coach in Peterborough, but it's not the same as being the main coach. You're the guy calling the shots. You're the guy that's going to have to get the team ready and going for the game. So I think it's all going to be a bit of a learning curve this season for Romford, but again, we've seen what Romford can do. They can come together as a team and really pull out the bag.
Yeah.
And I think we'll definitely see games like that this year, but I don't think we'll see it as frequently as last year.
Yeah. They've got CC, and the big thing with the decor for me, if they're gonna make it work, they have to protect CC. They let far too many goals in pre-season, and I don't think you can outscore your problems this season. I really don't, because I think every other team's taken a step up, Charlie. And CC's got a big job ahead of him this season, hasn't he? To not only carry on that good home form, but he's got to do what kind of Max Wright did last year a bit for the Bees in nicking some of those games away.
Yeah, I haven't got Romford bottom. I wouldn't put them there. I think Romford have got a lot of heart in that team. I think there's a lot of local lads in that team, and I think they'll have a decent home record for a team in the bottom end. I've got Romford 10th if I was going to predict them in a spot.
Okay.
But I think they'll really find a way to dog it through it. Miller's still one of the best forwards in this league. I think we gave him the player of the year
I
last year.
gave him forward of the season.
Um,
Yeah. Gospel was our player of the year.
that's no mess about. TJ will have another big year. He has banned at the moment, but it's only one more, I think. Alif will have a big year, step forward. Sylvester, Leish, if he can stay fit. Yeah, I think Romford will struggle this year, and I think that kind of got shown in pre-season, but I think they'll fight through games, and they've got a lot of London boys. If I'm going to say who I think will finish 11th, I think Bristol will do it a third time. I, I, I go off their track record, and um, I think they didn't make changes in positions they should have. I personally would have got a new goalie in if I was them. Um, and I just think I think Bristol's team this year has improved, and I 100% think it has. But I know Bristol fans will kind of laugh watching this because, yeah, but I just think the league took a step up as well. As we said, I don't think there's going to be a team like last year, a bit like Bristol and Bees last year. I don't think it will be like that, where there's a clear bottom team. But I
Yeah.
do think that they'll
Someone's got to finish 10th and
someone's
11th, isn't
got.
it?
I've got to predict someone 10th and 11th, and I think it will be close between Raiders and Bristol. But I put Bristol and then Romford at 10th.
I just the big thing with Bristol, Dan, is can they've obviously got Padalet coming in, and we've said in the Bristol thing, they've got a lot of different personalities in that team, but at the end of the day, they have to buy into what Paddy wants them to do. And that might not be straight away, but they've got to win more games at home because they've got a great fan base. They need to win more games at home. They need to concede less goals at home. And they have made the right additions in terms of bringing the likes of Bricknell and Dunbar. They haven't, for me, had out and out point scorers, and I think they did miss that. So I actually think Bristol could have a poor season if it doesn't go right, and we've seen in previous seasons when it doesn't go right, it can go quite bad, can't it, Dan? But I really do think if it does go right and Napier gets the support in front of him, because the decor really needs to take a step up this year, especially with Batch coming in, they could have a really high ceiling and maybe getting eighth, seventh, eighth, because they've got the players to do that. But it's all about the change of kind of mentality, isn't it, with Bristol?
Yeah, I mean, I put Romford in 11th like you, and I put Bristol in 10th.
Yeah.
But I think we talk about like they need to buy in. We've said this for the past 2 years that they need to buy in. They're on their third coach now in 3 years. I don't see what is the difference. You know what I mean? Like they should have bought in 2 years ago when they had that team that gave them their best finish.
Yeah.
I think the coaches that they've been enough. I think it is just the locker room is just not as tight as it should be, and I think They just, like you said, they just need to come together as a team and finally really show what they can do together instead of being individuals and show what they can do on their own. Because as a team, they do look like a really smart team on the ice, but you know they've just they've never been able to do that. And I think if they want to take that next step and they really want to show what they can do at this level, they have to play it as a team because you can't just be an individual now.
And this is the big one for me. They have to stop taking silly penalties. Like, so they had so many penalty minutes last year. You can't get a playoff spot when you're taking that much penalties. The discipline has to be huge in those big moments where you've got a lead. Don't go and do something silly. Don't react. Don't get goaded into it because they've got quite some younger players. So I think that's big for them.
And this the guy's taking these penalties. You had Butler as captain; he was taking the penalties. This season, you got Batch; he got banned in pre-season. Like these captains need to be leading by example, and you need to be care. There's a right place and a right time to take a penalty, and obviously, as a captain, you should be leading an example. There's other guys in that team that can take penalties, and it's not too bad. But when you've got your captain there that's clearly losing his head, it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be the captain losing their head. It should be the captain calming people down and showing that calm presence on the bench and sort of keeping that team under control as well as the coach as well. So I think it's just the type of people that are taking these penalties that I think are sending this team in the wrong direction.
Yeah, but it could change this season. I think there is excitement around Bristol. As we said, don't look into preseason too much. It really does start. Got a tough first game away at Milton Keynes. But that Solway at home, you feel is a must win, Charlie. They, they have to start making statements at home if they are going to improve.
That's one of them games you look at, and I don't know. I identify kind of a bottom 4 or 5, and that's kind of like that 4 point a game. Every game against Solway's a big one. You want to get them home wins, especially on the bounce. And Solway will be thinking the exact same thing going into it. And I think guys like Britnell and Dunbar have got to really step up. Batch and Butler, as Dan mentioned, Nappy has got to have a better year. He's got to be good this year. He's got to put the team on his shoulder and ideally play
A bit more
45.
consistently, I think.
Yeah, he's got to play 45, 50 games this year, take that big load of the weight, and players and the depth players have got to be depthy. It's going to be an interesting year, and I think, as we've said, I identify that kind of 5 in the area: Telford, Bristol, Solway, Romford, and Basingstoke. Them are the guys for me who are going to be battling out for them last 5 spots, 2 playoff spots, and it's going to be a dogfight at times, and it's sometimes what team can dog it out in them games, what team's going to win them games, find a way to break through, and players like Britton and Dunbar are going to do that. So, yeah, it's important to start for Bristol, start well, and I think the important thing for Bristol is to get the mentality. They've got some more experience in there, and we said that on our preview, and I still back what I said on that preview. Their goal is playoffs. Same with Romford, the goal is playoffs. And same with Solway, the goal is playoffs. So it's you got to get playoffs, but it's not always going to be easy getting it.
Yeah. But their depth has got to step up. Obviously, Bailey Harewood's been getting some good minutes in pre-season as well. You got to think about that. You can't just rely on Bailey Harewood when you've not got when you're looking for other options apart from Dunbar and Bricknell. Right, let's move on to the other two who I think, and I think we've all agreed, are in contention for that playoff spot as well, but could miss out, and that's Basingstoke and Solway. Now, Solway, last 2 years, it's been heartbreak for them. They've not quite got it. They've gone with a different approach, a lot more defensive, bringing in Jake Bolton, a big body. I think they're going to be meaner to play against. Their top 4D looks so solid. You've got Kel Beatty, Stenton, Arseneau, and Bolton. And I think that'll be huge for Arseneau personally because he won't have to play as much. And this does mean their forward core takes a bit of a hit because you don't have Dunbar now, you don't have Alderson, you don't have Gardiner, and you don't have Robertson, and you'd probably say they were 4 of their best attackers, if not the best. So it's a big change up. I think Ossick and Stewart are going to bring something different, but Dan, it's a bit of a question mark. Will it work this year? Going a bit more defensive because they did concede a bit too many goals last season.
Yeah, I think I I can see why they went to import D. Do I what I do wonder is did they know those forwards were leaving before they signed that second import D man?
Yeah,
Because if I was them and I knew those players were leaving, I don't think I would have put my import into D. I think I would have put another one in forward and just kept Arsenal there. Obviously, I know Bolton does bolster that D core up a lot, but I think if you fair enough, you keep the puck out your own net, but if you're not scoring up the other end and you're not getting that scoring touch that you were getting before, you're sort of you're going in. You're sort of doing the same, but in the other direction. You're going to be able to keep the scores low, but you're not going to be able to score those goals that is going to win you the games. And in the end, the D can only do so much. So it does make me wonder if they didn't know that those players were leaving before they signed Bolton, because yeah, if I was them, I would have put that third import slot into being a forward.
yeah, it's a big chance for players to step up into being main guys. I'm talking Carter Hamill. It's a big opportunity for him. I think the likes of Duncan Spears and Jordan Buesa, they're going to have even bigger roles than they did at Peterborough and Leeds. Charlie, what's kind of your thoughts on Solway? Because I've personally been umming and ahhing between them getting the playoff spot, but then maybe Basingstoke, which will come to us in a second. It's between them two for me for that eighth playoff spot.
Yeah, I like what Solway have done. I think their big loss was an Alderson player.
Yeah,
I think Alderson was a huge loss for them. I like the signing of Buesa. I think he's due a change and I think he's due a bounce. I think he's the type of guy who can get 60 points and he's going to have a lot more responsibility on his shoulders. He hasn't got Kieran Brown as a Brit anymore. I'd argue he's probably their best point scoring Brit in the forward zone. Duncan Spears I really like as a signing. Carter Hamill I really like as a signing. And they've got some good youngsters in that team. I've got them ninth. I've got them
ooh,
sadly having heartbreak again, missing out on playoffs. One thing I'll say watch out for is I think when Solway get their rink back, I think there's going to be a bit of a wagon for a period of time. I do think they're going to hit a hot streak for a bit. Because I think they got better last year, definitely at making their home rink much harder to play on, and turning it into a fortress and adding Jake Bolton to that decor. I think adds the one thing they were missing in that decor, which is someone who can flatten people.
physical. Yeah,
And so, like, for example, if Leeds go there, I'd tell Jake Bolton, make sure you hit Kieran Brown hard early on in this game. And I think that sends a message. And I think that Solway team will be a tougher team to play against in terms of physicality and bullying. But I do think they're going to struggle away. I think sometimes away you really want that skill to win you games. That individual moments, and I think they've got less of that this year without
yeah,
Dunbar and Gardenia. But maybe these two imports
yeah.
are just as good. But yeah, I've got them just missing out. But that bottom three is so hard to predict because I know Romford can do it. I know Bristol have got the potential to do it, and I know Solway do. But I've got Solway in ninth because I do think they are taking steps forward, and I still think you'll finish the season and go they did do okay this year, but obviously they're going to want to be in a playoff spot.
Yeah, I've also got Solway just missing out. And the team I've got in eighth, making that playoff spot is Bison. Just disclaimer, I'm not putting them in there just because of Dan. We absolutely spank them when we play them because the rivalry between Basingstoke and Swindon, as you could tell, with it absolutely blowing up with the fights, is very much back, and I'm looking forward to them games. But I just think with Solway and Basingstoke, you've both got that team gel, which I think is huge for trying to get a playoff spot. And yes, Basingstoke are a new team, but they got a lot of players who've played with each other. Solway's played with each other for a long time. And Basingstoke, I think, are already a tight knit group who've got chunks from Raiders, you've got some players from Bees, you add these imports in, and you could tell in pre season they're just all getting along, Dan, already. And as they've got good players on the ice, but I think the off ice stuff is important as well. But yeah, I just think they're gonna sneak it. I really do. Dan, what have you got? Have you got your team making playoffs?
Yeah, so Well, I haven't got Bison in eighth. I've got
Oh,
Solway in ninth.
okay.
But I've got Bison seventh.
Oh,
Yeah, I
it's your
honestly, I'm
team, so
very yeah, I'm a bit biased, but I'm very happy with what I saw in pre-season. I think the way that we were coached was a very big thing for me. I think we were coached very well. I think the depth that we've got is quite underrated, I'd say. I think we've got players there that play a really good depth role, and I think players will grow into positions as well and grow into spots in that team. There's still spots there to be taken. No one's set in stone of where they're going to be playing come to opening night, but I think there are definitely spots there that players are going to fill into. I think our D looks really good. Max Wright looked really good. He grew into his game as the preseason went on. Obviously, we know what he can do,
yeah,
and that Bristol weekend he was unbelievable. Will Bray, he had a tough game against Swindon. Obviously, coming in halfway through is always going to be hard, but he redeemed himself, getting that shutout in the third period against Bristol on Sunday, which I'm happy with. I'm glad he got that for confidence. But I'm happy with the whole team. I'm happy with the imports that have come in. Spadafor is definitely a confidence guy. He's going to definitely take a bit of time, I think. He had a very positive game on Sunday, but yeah, I just think as a team and the way we're going to be coached, I think he's just going to bring us through this season.
and
And when we
Charlie,
get a ring back as well, I think we'll just
yeah,
take that next level.
yeah, you know, Basingstoke fans are going to come out in full force. Charlie, I'm guessing you've got Basingstoke eighth as well,
Yeah, well,
as
Basingstoke
well as
8th.
me.
Yeah, I've got Basingstoke 8th. I think that'd be a great year for them. I think their decor's good. I like Basingstoke. And the thing which just screams Basingstoke to me is their heart. I think they're just such a feisty, fighting team. And so yeah, I like to look at Basingstoke. It is still just pre-season. I'm not judging too much. I had Basingstoke 8th before pre-season. And I think Max Wright is that good. I think Max Wright will carry them in a lot of games this year.
Yeah,
And I think Max Wright's the best import goalie in this league, and I think that can be a big difference maker in the Romford, Bristol, and Basingstoke battle. Is I
yeah.
think they've got the best goalie out of the three of them. So, and I think that will make a huge difference for me. I don't know. I haven't seen CC to be fair, but it takes some beating to beat Max Wright.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be tight though, and yes, people are going to be annoyed. Maybe some players watching will be trying to prove us wrong, which is absolutely we love it when we get. I don't mind getting chirped if I say something and it turns out to be the opposite. Come chirp me. I think it's all part of the fun, but we've got to make the predictions because it's what the people want. In that sixth, seventh spot, for me, I think the league's kind of split up into sections, and in that sixth and seventh spot, I've got Peterborough and Telford. I think they're going to be. I think either of them could finish sixth or seventh. Obviously, it's Ash Tate's first season. It's their new era under Ash Tate. But yes, they've got Salem out with an injury, but you stick Serenis on the top line with Huff and Ferrara, and you've then got Lacken and new boy Dylan Lawrence on the second line. I think it's really good depth on that top six. And I know Serenis has had his issues, and stuff happen, but there's no better players to put him with than Huff and Ferrara, and he's going to be loving it. And he had a great preseason with them. It is the same decor. You know what you're getting. They might play a little bit different of a style, but I think they've got a good enough squad to get that sixth, seventh spot. And I don't think that would be a terrible season. Maybe a little cup run as well. We'll have to see. And then Telford for me, again, their top six. I absolutely love their top six. Patrick Brown, he is an absolute beast. I think he's going to be he is so fun to watch. I've been watched him three times in pre-season. He's 6'3", monster in that center spot, wins face off, so quick, great hands. He is going to be a difference maker for Telford this season. To add depth on that second line. But I do think that their decor is just never all fit, is it? So that will be a bit of a question mark this season. But yeah, Dan, who have you got in eighth? Can I quickly ask?
I put Telford in eighth.
You got Telford eighth and Bison
Yeah,
seventh. Yeah. Do you agree
yeah,
with me on the kind of Telford Peterborough like route?
yeah. I do agree, and I think you said about the decor. That was the reason why I put Tigers in eighth.
Okay.
Obviously, they do get a lot of injuries in that part of the
It's
team,
not
and
as depthy, is it?
it can
Oh, poor old Louis Newell's back at D.
it can cost you a little bit going that way. But there's players there that can obviously pull out the bag. They haven't got Adam Harden this year to go in D, but I'm sure someone else will step up. And then yeah, with Peterborough, like you were saying, with the spots open in the top six, we know what Tate's like. Tate will give any guy a chance if they deserve it. You're going to get a chance in the top six, and Tate's always been really good at that. So I'm interested to see what Tate does with the lines throughout the year. But me and Charlie were talking earlier. This is probably the most competitive team that Tate's coached, and I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of players there that he can move around and sort of and play with. I think he's got a really good team that he's coaching there, and I think Tate's going to be really thriving being coach of that team.
Yeah, Charlie. I know the football's getting quite intense at the moment. But anything else to add? Because I know you've got Telford, Peterborough in that sixth and
I've
seventh
got
spot as well.
Halford seventh, Peterborough comfortably sixth in their own little
Okay.
island.
I got Peterborough six, by the way. I don't think I said.
I
Yeah.
really, really rate what Peterborough's going to do with Tate. I don't know. I really like that appointment. And I think they'll go under the radar. I think Leving's going to have a big year. I like their decor. I think Barron's going to have a blowout year. Um, and then, yeah, I think Tate has got a history at Basingstoke. Even Bees of being really good with confidence players. So I'm going to predict as well Lawrence to just cook as well. So yeah, I really, really like Phantoms, and I think they'll be quite comfortably in that sixth spot. And I wouldn't be surprised if they made it to a playoff semi-final or a cup semi-final too. I think they look really good, and I think it's easy to underestimate the likes of Luke Ferrara and Brad Baring as Brits in that team surrounded by imports. They are that good.
Yeah. Right. The top five then. I think this is a lot of people's top five, and we're gonna go position by position for each of us. So fifth place, I have got the whole Seahawks. I did have them in fourth, but I just think that Davy Phillips signing, and the late Kyle Watson signing for Sheffield, I think bumps them up slightly. I will say this on Hull. I think they are a danger in that cup. I think if they get a top four spot, they can blow you. We said this down, I think, in the whole special. They get to a cup semi final, they could be 5-6 goals up in the first leg, winning 9-3. Like they've got that good of a forward core. I just think across a 54 game season, yes, I don't think they're going to get smashed like people think. I think people are being way too critical on their defense because I think their forward core is going to help massively defensively. The likes of Stallard, Cornell, Bonner, Hewitt, here who they've signed, Ethan. But I just don't think it's quite as strong as a whole team. As the other four. Has everyone else got Hull in fifth as well?
Right,
Dan?
yeah, I have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Charlie.
I've got Hull in fifth.
Anything else to add? Just
I don't
quickly.
like putting Hull fifth because I'm really
Yeah, because I
rooting
feel
for
bad for Matty, man. I feel bad for him.
him. But yeah, I just Sheffield cooked with two signings. Like, I'm going to be honest. For me, it was a battle between Hull and Sheffield for a bit, and it still definitely could be.
Yeah.
There's no doubts in that this Sheffield team is new, and Hull could shock people and just cook, because that forward core is that good. But yeah, the decor worries me, and the goalies can worry me a little bit. Um, but who knows? But I have got them fifth if I was to predict.
I'll say this: Hull are gonna spank teams at home. Yes, they might not have a crazy decor. I think it'll be the away games they might struggle on, to shut games down. But they're gonna spank every single team in the league at least once at home. I think, including Swindon MK. I could just see it happening. Dan, anything else to add?
No, I think you've said everything that I was going to say, really.
Nice one. Right, the top four then. And I know we've got different ones on this. So fourth place, I'm gonna start. I've got the Sheffield Steel Dogs. Really exciting team. I really think they're going to be a threat in the cups. Obviously with Sava, we know what he can do. I'm just not quite sure. It's a very new team, and I think the three ahead of them, the three which have finished in that top three the last couple of years, I just think are going to be stronger. So I've got Sheffield in fourth, but I really do think they're going to be a threat for the cups this season. And they could push higher, but I have to put them somewhere, and I'm going fourth. Maybe that's safe. Who knows? Dan, who have you got
I
fourth?
put I put MK in fourth.
And Charlie, who have you got in fourth?
I always go for my gut. It's probably because I don't really like them and they're rivals. But yeah, I've got MK in fourth. I'm not doubting Slava Kulikov and what that man can do. Yeah, it'd be fun. I wish I could see the MK's reactions right now. I may be wrong. At the end of the season, I could look like a tart. But yeah, I've gone for MK fourth, just purely down to I think they've got a new
Yeah,
squad.
you got to give some reasoning. Go on.
Yeah, for me, like the reason I've got MK fourth, I think I think they lack a bit in the D. I don't like the five imports. I just think it
No,
causes
by that, you don't mind them personally.
no, yeah, I don't mind them personally. I don't like the
I
fact
hate
they've
them.
got
Yeah, I
five.
don't like a badge. I don't like Jokinen.
I don't like the fact they've got five. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's. I don't think that's the right play. I think you need to set in stone. And the thing with MK is, I think they've got too many pieces which can get moved around everywhere. But the problem is, and I will say this, I do think the top four is super close. I do think that, and and that's this could switch completely. It could be the opposite to my order, but I like to predict with my gut, and I like to go controversial. I'm not really bothered if I get things wrong. So I'm going MK fourth. Just because, yeah, I don't back it. I don't know why. I just have this gut
Dan,
feeling with it, and I love Slava.
Dan, they've probably been the best home team over the last 2 years. Why have you got them in fourth?
I've just it's a lot of change this year. They've lost a lot of big pieces in that team. Obviously, they've lost Max Stewart, they lost Solder, lost Venus. There's a lot of players in there that were the reasoning behind them being so dominant at home. Obviously, they've brought some fresh faces in. You've got Elliot Lewis there, who's going to be grinding so hard to gain a spot in that team and obviously get on the fans. Obviously, I know the fans will love him already. Josh Kelly's in there, another guy that's sort of you wouldn't expect him to be in an MK jersey, but they've obviously taken a chance on him. There's a lot of youngsters in that team, and I think this season is they're still going to be good and competitive, but I don't think they're going to be as dominant as years previous because of the players that have gone and the players that are coming in. I think
Yeah.
in a few years' time they will get back to sort of that dominant level because those players will obviously grow in this team. They'll grow within MK, but it's just another one of those process things, and I think it'll take a bit of time. They might find their feet in some games and go on a good little run, but I don't think they're going to be as dominant and as maybe level-headed in those big games when it comes to playing them because MK you're on the big stage in MK you're playing those big games a lot and you need to have that level head and I think there's a lot of personalities in there that I think might maybe get a bit ahead of themselves and sort of maybe it is tough
See, I
but
disagree with that statement,
I'm
but
putting I'm putting yeah if you disagree you can say your reason.
all right. Well, on to third place then. And I've actually got the Leeds Knights. I think you talk about MK losing some key players. I think Leeds have lost just as key players. The Matt Hayward was massive for them, running that second line, or it would be top line center, and I really don't think they've replaced Matt Hayward. In terms of, yes, they've got that extra import forward, but I think you lose a lot with Hayward. You've then got these new imports coming in for Barron and McMullen, who are around for 2 seasons. So it's gonna take time for them to settle in. And then they've got a couple new Brits as well. I'm probably doubting Leeds again, but you have to choose them somewhere. And yeah, I think it'll be very close between them and another team in who I've got second. As Charlie said, I think anyone could really finish anywhere in that top four, but I've got Leeds third if I had to choose a team. Charlie, who have you got third?
I got Sheffield third.
Okay.
I just think it's a really big year for Sheffield. I like Sheffield's team. I think they've got one of the, if not the best coach in the league. I think them two signings they made late on, Davy Phillips probably playing on that second pair, phenomenal. What's that guy in forward?
Watson.
Watson, a great signing. I just think he's a really good addition to that team. He's such a compliment guy to go into that top six. And just the more I think about it, I really like the way this Sheffield team is built. The biggest question marks for me, and I said this in the preview, is their goalie. He's never played at this level. It's first time being starter, but I think that goalie's going to be very protected. And do Steelers steal?
Yeah.
Because I think Liam Steele is the real deal. I think he's phenomenal. I watched one preseason game, and I don't normally get taken away by preseason games, but still skated like the wind, and he's 6'4". And I had to see it once, and I saw it once, and I went, okay, I'm sold. And that's why I put him third. So yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Dan, who have you got third?
I put Steel Dogs third.
Similar reasons to Charlie.
Yeah, and
I will say that the addition of Davy Phillips is massive for them if he can stay fit and can play the whole season. But he's not being relied on as much as he was at Hull, and I think he won't be playing as much minutes. You've got Steele and Garcia who look like they're the top pair, so he's second pair with Kirk. I just think that'll be big for him, but he's got to stay fit, as a name.
Yeah, and I think Slava is in there is massive. They're obviously investing into that, and I think Sheffield is a team they need to prove people wrong this year. They need to have a big bounce back year from last year. Last year was just a start, and this season they definitely mean business in this off season. Obviously, they've had the new owners have had the first full off season to sort of sign players and really look into what they're going to buy into. So I think Sheffield as a team just need to impress, and I think they've got a team there that is definitely competent of finishing in the top three. I've got the same reason as Charlie. The goaltending, I'm not sold on the goaltending as of yet. Obviously, I didn't watch the stream. I haven't seen them play, but I'm not bought on them just yet. But I think, like Charlie said as well, they've got a good D in front of them, so they've got enough protection there to be good enough at this level. But again, it's you've got Steelers there that can take players just like that, like we saw with Tremblay. So
Yeah,
it's
Bergendunov, don't be.
he,
You can be good, but not too good
don't get
because
his jersey if he's good because he's gonna be gone.
the other thing I will say, this isn't me digging. I do think the other teams around them will have a better home atmosphere. As we've said so many times, it is a shame they don't get as much fans as the other teams because it's my favorite rink. Steel Dogs rink is my favorite. It
Especially
was
the
great to
food,
see them all in pre-season,
the
but it
food.
will be massive for them to try and build up this home
But
rink.
it's still a B team.
It still is. No, I get that.
Like I'm gonna as blunt as possible. It's a B team. And it always will be. And if their attendances do go up, they're going to be fans who are watching the Steel Dogs because the Steelers aren't playing. And I haven't got a problem with that. That's a good thing if you can get an organization where everyone buys into each category. But I do agree with you. The home atmosphere will be flat, probably most games. But I actually do think Slava's sick in flat atmospheres. Like I'm gonna say it
That is
how it is.
such a random statement.
I think Slava's the perfect coach to make
Oh,
the game
Charlie, I love
stupidly
Slav as
boring
well, but
and win it 3-0. Like I think he loves the idea of bringing Swindon to Sheffield and saying, "Let's make this the most boring game ever and win it 3-1 and score two team goals and not let them shoot any grade A's." Like I can just see that type of game written by Sheffield and they got the players to do it.
right. Anyways, second and first, then I have got drum roll, please. Swindon are winning the league for me. But no, that's where I'm predicting it. I've got Swindon first, and then I've got Milton Keynes second. Um, yeah, we'll go round the group first, and then we'll give our reasoning. Dan, who have you got second, and who is your league winners?
I've got Leeds second and Swindon first.
Woo! Charlie, who have you got second, and who's your league winners?
Got Leeds second and Swindon first. I always back the boys.
Everyone is gonna
You
think
should
we're
be backing the
so
boys.
biased, by the way.
You should be.
Yeah, no, yeah. So I'll kick it off and say I don't. I think Milton Keynes will be competing for the league this season. I really do. I think they've got a different approach this season. I think they've got third and fourth line players who are going to play that third and fourth line role. I think their top six is if that top six can stay together, and I think County's going to take a massive step. You know what Dom Gabai's like. I think he's going to improve their power play. And they've got the most depth out of the top four. I really do believe that. But I've got Swindon to win the league. And my reasoning for that is I think we've made the right signings on top of the team we had last year, and the main one is Ben O'Connor. And you've seen what he did in pre-season. I think he's going to carry that on into the league, if not better. He is ridiculous for this level. The goals he's scoring, just the flick of the wrist from the blue line, it's so hard for goalies to save. And I think we've got the depth which we haven't had in previous seasons. And I'm a Swindon fan, so I'm going to back us. And I think there's a lot of expectation on us this season. And I'm going to also put that expectation on us to go and take that next step to win a trophy. And I'm hoping it's the league title. Charlie, I'll go to you.
Yeah, to be honest, like this team fills me with confidence. The last three teams to win it have all had Kieran Brown on it. Last three league titles have all had Kieran Brown, and I think especially even looking back at Telford days as well, because the last five winners have been Leeds, 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 Telford, Telford. And all of them guys have kind of had that main Brit they can rely on. Scott McKenzie or Jonathan Weaver, you'd say for Telford. For Leeds, that would be Sam Gospel and not Ben O'Connor, Kieran Brown. And for Swindon, I do think it's Ben O'Connor. Like, for me, he's going to get 85 to 90 points, potentially, if he plays all games. He could score a goal a game potentially in this league. He's mental. He's nuts. And it's a massive addition, adding guys like Griffiths in, adds that experience. Um, then having Wells back, my eyes the best player in this league. Then you've got Tyler Watkins, whose CV is unreal, and he had a decent pre-season. Van der Moronka looks exciting. I just think the pressure's on the team, and like I've messaged an MK fan I know, and we're speaking. He's like, "Oh, I'll clip the fact that you said Swindon will win the league." Nah, that's the responsibility we have when we sign a roster like this. The pressure is on Swindon to turn up and win silverware this year. And the same is for Leeds. I've put Leeds second, but I don't like to underestimate Leeds, which is why I've got them second. They have had a lot of change this year, and I don't think they are quite as strong as they were in previous years. And there's more question marks, I think, this year than we've had in the last 3 years for Leeds. But I think Leeds are Leeds. They still have Sam Gospel and Kieran Brown, and until them two boys leave Leeds, they're going to be a big wagon, and I think they will make it difficult for us, as well as I think MK and Sheffield will. I think this year will be the lowest points tally league winners we've had since Leeds didn't win the league. I
So
think
since Telford won it.
there'll be more losses in the league this year. I think the league's a
Yeah.
better league and more competitive. But I'm gonna predict Swindon because I love the boys, and to be honest, I want us to win the league. So yeah.
Dan, you're not a Swindon fan. Why are you putting Swindon to win the league this season?
Um, I mean, I said in the preview, I say quite a lot in the preview, but I think the Swindon have always been there and thereabouts of being that league winning team. They've always had the roster to compete for trophies and compete for cups, but they've just never been able to get it across the line. You've said about the players that you've brought in. I think there definitely are the right pieces. I don't think there's any sort of excuse as to why you couldn't have won a trophy last season.
Yeah.
Because I think your team was still really solid last year, and you should have probably competed at least in a final. I think the players that have come in is definitely going to make a difference. Obviously, you've still got the same coach, so I think a lot of pressure on your coach in Aaron now. I think he's got a team now, and he's got a team here that has to win. Um, and obviously, the one that you want to win to show that you're a competitive team and to show that you are the best is the league. And I think that's the one that Swindon should be going for this year. I think they should also be going for one more trophy, which I've already said. I think they've got the roster for that. I don't think there's any reason why they shouldn't be looking at that. Obviously, you have to take it one step at a time, but I think they should definitely be going for it. And I just think, yeah, I think as the off season's gone, I think Swindon have definitely built the strongest team. And if you look at their depth, they've got players there that have they've you talk about teams that have played together for a long time. You've got teams there that have literally been in that team since I first started watching hockey. And they're still there now, which is pretty crazy to think about. So they've got that team bond right there. I think it all is just down to the coaching and how that team is coached in those big games now. And then for
Yeah.
Leeds, I've put them in second. Yes, Leeds is Leeds. You can't really say too much on them. Like Charlie said, there is a lot more question marks this year, but they've still got Aldridge there, and Aldridge can coach that team perfectly and coach them to a T in those games. And if they want to win big ones, he can get it done in those big games and really get it across the line. So Leeds are there, and I'm always going to put them second or first.
Yeah, okay, that is our predictions then for this season, and we're gonna get some wrong. We are gonna get some wrong. I hope we
No,
don't get the main one wrong
to
though.
be fair, but
Um
Bison top four could still be on the
uh,
cards.
right, I forgot to put this in our chat, but I am gonna ask for a cup winner, please.
Oh my
Who's gonna
god.
win the cup? I'm not gonna ask for playoffs because I don't think you can really predict a playoff winner when it's the season's not even started. But the cup, which is it is a fairly early competition. Who is going to be your winner? So, Charlie, do you have your answer?
Swindon.
Okay, all right.
Back in the boys this year. Come on.
Nice one, Dan. Who are you going to go with?
Steel Dogs.
Sheffield. Wow. Okay. I'm going to go with Leeds to win the cup this year. They won it last year, and I think if well, obviously I'm not predicting them to win the league, but I think they will win something because they got Gospel and Kieran Brown. So that's our cup predictions. Let's get on to our little mini questions before we wrap it up then. So we've done our little ones to watches for each team. A couple of them have already flopped. I think I chose David Phillips for Hull. So that one's already gone down the pan. I think someone chose Richard Hartman
Yeah, that was me. That was a good one.
for Peterborough. He's
I'm good at
gone to
them.
Fife. So a couple of them are outdated a little bit.
Good
But
old
we've
Nick
got our
Layer.
yeah. So if you don't know, Dan, I think it was last season, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Or
Predicted
last season before.
Nick Leia as his ultimate ones to watch. He left within the first week.
He left the country.
He literally left. So hopefully this doesn't happen with our ones to watch this season. And this is for the whole league. So who are you gonna go with? Who wants to go first? Charlie?
Yeah, I don't want to pick the same player for two things. So my ones to watch for the whole league is going to be Liam Steele.
Okay.
Um, I
If he
just think,
stays in the league.
yeah, if he stays in the league.
Oh, here we go again.
It's a risky one. Yeah, it's a risky one to pick, I guess. But because Steelers, yeah, could just nick him. But no, I just think he's got that potential to blow up this league, be one of them guys who goes from our league to playing for GB in the future. And I just think he could be one of them guys who you look back on and you go, he had an iconic year in the National League, and now he's playing second line for GB and for the Steelers winning trophies. And I think he just could be one of them guys. And I just think he's ones to watch out for. I think he could set a new standard for Brit D's, which they're not really going to match because this guy's a bit nutty. And apparently he was meant to get drafted at one point or potentially in the draft list. So yeah, he's not bad. Yeah, I'm picking Liam Steele for the ones to watch for the league.
Nice one, Dan. Who are you going with? Here we go.
I'm going with Zach Shankar.
Ah, he's going with his Bison boy.
Yeah, I bit biased again, but honestly, I think this guy is he's gonna be unreal this year. We saw Wales come in last year. Obviously, he set the standard for import D, I'd
Yeah.
say, and I think Shankar. We've said I'm going to be honest now. He's not going to be better than Wells. I think we know that,
I think he's
but
a
I
bit
think
different to Wellesley though.
he is very different.
Yeah.
I like the way he plays. I like that physical
He's
play. I
physical,
think
yeah.
he suits Basingstoke really well.
Yeah.
But he had an obviously I know we're going from pre-season because that's the only thing we can. But he had a very very good pre-season. I really liked what I saw from him, and I think as he gets more confident and as he gets to know the league better and know the players that he's going up against, I think he's going to be a top end defenseman. I think you look at Demon, I reckon he'll finish the season at least top four D-men in the league. I think the points he's going to put up is going to be really good. Should be the main PP guy for our team on the blue line. And I think, yeah, having that solid import D man at the back for Bainstoke was so important. So yeah, Zach Shankar.
Nice one. Right. I've got two in mind, but I'm gonna go with my heart. I was slightly edging towards Bergendenov, but I'm gonna go with Mr. Patrick Brown. I'm sticking with it. He was my ones to watch, one of the players to watch out for, raving about him before we watched him in pre-season. Well, he has backed me up on it as well. He is definitely ones to watch. I think he's a fun player to watch. As I mentioned, big body, great hands, and can snipe a puck as well. So Patrick Brown is my ones to watch from the Telford Tigers. Top point scorer. Oh, this is an interesting one. Charlie, we'll go back to you.
Kieran Brown.
Okay, nice
He's
one.
gonna cook
Easy.
this year. So yeah, Kieran Brown.
Dan, who are you going to go with?
I've gone with Sobchak.
You're going with Sobchak again.
Yeah, I think that Hull offense is going to be something. I think he's going to be the main guy once again in that offense. So
Nice one. I'm going to go with Kieran Brown as well. I think if he plays all 54 games or 50 plus games, because he didn't play that much last year, I think he'll just pip him. And I don't think Sobchak will need to score as many points this year because they've got a lot more depth. I'm not saying he won't score loads of points, but yeah, I think Kieran Brown's going to take it because I do actually think he's going to have to carry the offense a little bit more for Leeds this season compared to previous seasons. Player of the season. I think me and Charlie are gonna have the same here. Charlie, who are you going with?
You're Ben O'Connor.
Yeah, he's got the same as me.
Yeah,
If
I
I'm
was gonna
going with
put
Swindon to win the league, I'm
I,
going Ben
I put
O'Connor.
him as my ones to watch, but I didn't want to do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
This guy's nuts. He's got a better shot than 99.99% of forwards in this league. Um, yeah, maybe a handful, if that, of players I take his shot over. He's insane. He's fun. This was just pre-season for him. He scored the most amount of points. He was one of GB's best players in the recent tournament to take them up to Division A. And he's fun and he hits good as well. Yeah, he's sick. He's gonna be a fun player. You're gonna enjoy it. You'll enjoy watching him. When you watch Swindon, I'm sure you'll enjoy watching him. He takes risks. He's fun, but yeah, super excited by Ben O'Connor, and I don't think there's any other choice really. That's just my opinion.
All right, Dan, who are you gonna go with for your one sorry, not ones to watch, player of the season, because we've both gone Ben O'Connor.
I've gone for Bear Gendunov.
Okay, nice one. Will
I
that tie
like
in
what
with kind of your cup win as well?
Yeah, I think he's going to be a guy that's going to turn up in those big games. I think he's got that big body. He's going to be able to play a physical style of hockey. And obviously, I know he scored most of his points against Edinburgh, but he also scored 2 points against Leeds. And obviously, they're a big team to get points against. And I think he's going to be coming up in big moments and getting those big goals for Sheffield.
Nice one. And our final little question is actually I've got another funny one which I'm going to throw a curveball out
Oh,
there.
here we go.
But young player of the season, and I've said 21 or under. Well, I did say under 21. Then Dan threw out a player who's 21 years old. So we'll come to him in a second. Charlie, who?
I'm last.
Okay, Dan, who are you going for?
Liam Still.
Oh, what? Is he 21?
What?
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh my
You said
days!
it was allowed.
Okay, I did say I didn't actually know who it was. I just said, fine, I'll let you have the 21-year-old Liam Steele if he stays with the
Oh
Steele
yeah.
Dogs, because he could go up to the Elite League. But yeah, that's definitely another shot. I'm actually going to go with an 18-year-old, who I think's got a massive year with the absence of Davy Phillips. I think Noah. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I'm so sorry. Noah, but he is my young player of the season shout. So I'm going to go Noah Car Karinen. Noah Karinen. I think he's going to be one to watch out for this season. And he's going to have a big role for Hull in that decor. And he got quite a few points in preseason as well. So Noah Karinen. Sorry, so sorry. But he is going to be my young player of the season. Charlie?
Um, I've gone for one which is either going to work really well or not, but Alex Oxdale. Oldale.
Oldale.
20 years
Oh,
old.
He's gone for the one player he can't say his name.
the
Yeah, 20
soup.
years old. I don't know. I just think it's such a big year for him, and if Sheffield are going to do well, I think he's going to be that centerpiece. And a lot of people are investing their stocks, and I have a huge question mark over him. But if that question mark is right and he works well under Slava, he's going to be big. So yeah, him.
Nice one. Right, the curveball question. Who is going to get the most PIMs in
Oh,
the league this season? Who's going to get the most penalty minutes? Shall I start to give you a couple a
yeah,
think?
give me a few minutes.
If he stays fit and he can rack up the penalty minutes, Deacon Fielder, he's on for a world record. The way pre-season went. So Deacon Fielder, Dan
um,
or
that's tough.
Charlie, just chuck a name out there.
I was going to say Malazitsky, but I'm going to go. I'm going to go Butler.
Oh, again.
Yeah, Butler again. He's going to go for this. He's got a thing to
I'll tell you
carry on.
what, Josh Batch, I think, is going to pick up some penalty minutes this year. He looks very, very solid player. Charlie,
Butler's got the crown, mate.
I'm waiting for that. Charlie's going to think of something funny here.
I don't have a clue.
Rennie Ma is going to come out the Baltimore goalies again.
That's not a bad one actually. It's gonna be a Swindon player to be fair. Goon squad and all that. Ben O'Connor maybe. Ben O'Connor.
Jamie
I
Smith.
do think Deacon Field is a shout.
A good one. That is a
Man's
good
got two bans in pre-season.
one.
That must be two separate bands.
He's played flipping 3 games and got 2 bans. I think Jake Bolton could lay some people out.
Oh, that's
Oh
a
yeah,
good shout. Yeah.
that's good.
I'll put Britnell's name in the mix.
I was
Yeah.
thinking of him.
Yeah.
I could see him getting 3 2-minute pims a night. Anybody else?
Salisbury. Now, actually, I think he's got a big role for Milton
Depends how
Keynes,
many
which
times
is
he
a
drops his
Pims.
He
glove.
only fights Wilstead, so it depends how much Wilstead fights this year in
All I'm
Basingstoke.
saying is Liam Morris is back in a bison.
Oh, yeah, that's
That guy loves
convenient.
No,
flipping smoke.
no, he's changed.
Right, I
Um,
think this
yeah.
episode's
I,
gone on quite
I
long.
like the invest in your stocks in. I explained to Dan what it means.
Okay, so
I've
I'll add
forgotten
this
now.
as our final question then. So, an
Oh,
invest your stocks player. So, it's a player which maybe isn't known too much, or is on the up and coming, and you're investing your stocks in this player ready for this season. Do you get what I mean now?
yeah,
Yeah, perfect. Well,
yeah.
Charlie, I'll start with you because you actually understood it.
Yeah, I think this is the type of one which works for it. I'm gonna go for Duncan Spears.
No, yeah, that's a good one actually. Yeah,
That would be a guy I'm investing my stocks in.
yeah,
I think he finished the season well for Peterborough. He scored 34 points in 38 games. His highest point scoring season in the national was 56 in 44. I think he's going to beat 56 this year, and I think he's going to have his best season. I think he's going to be a big player for Solway, and people forget he's only 28. He's just been slightly unfortunate with injuries. So yeah, I'm going to invest my stocks and invest my 50p into Duncan Spears.
nice one. Dan, who are you going with? Or do you want me to say mine?
You can go yours.
I'm going to invest my stocks in Jamie Smith this season. He is next to Ben O'Connor. He is D partner to Ben O'Connor, and that is some player to be partnered up with. And yeah, he's taken on that role to kind of be that defensive, sorry,
Hmm.
defensive solidarity. Oh, what am I? What am I chatting? He is going to be defensively solid next to Ben O'Connor, and I think he's going to learn so much next to him as well, with all that experience. So yeah, that's my investor the stocks. Jamie Smith, Dan.
I'm going to invest my stocks into Luke Spadafora.
What into being one of the best imports this season?
Not the best imports like point wise, but I think two-way game and all-roundedness. I reckon he'll be up there with one of the best all-rounded imports.
Okay, hey, he could be the guy to get you in that playoff spot. We'll have to see. But yeah, that is all the questions. Sorry if we've waffled a little bit, but we hope you've enjoyed it. We were due a long one having not done an episode for over a week. But the season starts this weekend. We're all going to be at the Link Centre on Saturday. Anything else to add, Charlie and Dan?
Um, as long as everything goes well tomorrow, I should be moving to Cardiff on Saturday.
Yeah.
So my hockey, yeah, experience will be a bit different, but yeah, the one home game I'm going to, my lass is banned for.
Yeah.
So great. But yeah, it should be a good season. Don't get too rattled by predictions. They're predictions for a reason. Are we Swindon biased? Come on, but Dan's more biased to Bison than we are Swindon.
No, I'm not.
And yeah, two teams don't have a rink at the moment. Mm.
Yeah. Pretty weird. We'll have to see. But yeah, Dan, anything else to add?
Uh, Bison are back. I'm glad Bison are back.
Nice
If
one.
it, if no one knew from this episode, Bison are back. I've sort of picked a few Bison players. Spoke about Bison quite a bit, but yeah, I'm happy.
All right. We'll see you in the next episode after week one has been played out. We haven't gone through the fixtures, but it's gone on long enough. Everyone knows it's on the National League website. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace.